somewhere in your chest, somewhere in your chest, using all that's left, somewhere in your chest, all your sweetheart hidden in, oh, oh.
Well, welcome to the Elevate Podcast, everyone. It's so great to have you all on once again. We have a big, awesome live stream as we are waiting the budget announcement to come down the pipe from François-Philippe Champagne. And, you know, the promise is he's got his big boule boots on today, and we'll see what he has in store. A lot of promises, a lot of investments, which means a lot of cha-ching, a lot of spending that will be coming along with it. We are still waiting to see. We are kind of waiting for them to get up to the pulpit, get ready. So in the meantime, we'll talk about what's been happening today. If you had the chance to watch the House of Commons today, well, it was okay for what it was. A lot of back and forth, but of course there was a lot of back and forth around the budget. A lot of conversations around as well as the plastic packaging tax, as the Conservatives would call it, and Liberals saying a lot of, there's no plastics tax in here, there's no packaging tax here, you guys are making up fake taxes to get votes. And well, that was the kind of back and forth that happened consistently. And well, it's always interesting to see the Liberals kind of try to gaslight and lie their way out of things because, well, yes, what they're talking about is not necessarily a tax. However, they're implementing these measures to get down to the 2030 agenda. And as I talk, everyone now is applauding François-Philippe Champagne entering the House of Commons, and we'll get to that right now.
Begin speaking, but as you mentioned, we can hear it in the foyer here of the House of Commons, a raucous level of applause from government benches, not from the opposition, from government benches. Let's take a listen.
He should be speaking momentarily. Here he is.
In both official languages, the budget documents for 2025, including the notice of Ways and Means motion. The details of the measures are contained in these documents. Pursuant to Standing Order 83-2, I am requesting that an order of the day be designated for consideration of these motion, Mr. Speaker. And with that, I will give that to the clerk. Here.
Okay, so now that the finance minister has risen in the House of Commons, the embargo has been lifted. Let's get to CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver for the nuts and bolts of Budget 2025.
Nearly 7 months after getting elected.
All right, so CTV is going to skip the French portion of the budget at this point in time, and I guess that's what we'll do the same on our end, and we'll keep a close eye on what is currently happening at this point in time. However, so this is what we'll see kind of moving forward, and we'll see what this budget is all about. At this point, we're seeing and hearing a lot of conversations around across the political aisle at this point, right? You have the NDP who's doing what they're doing, talking what they're talking about, saying, we'll see what comes of it. We don't want to see austerity. We want to see spending and making sure we're establishing and fostering these huge programs that our people rely so much on. And you have the Conservatives saying, well, you said you wanted a $42 billion deficit, last year or last budget. Well, let's try to stick to that this time. And well, the Liberals have said, we're not really doing any of that. And then we have the Bloc Québécois, who have then also said they want to expand or at least keep up specific programs as well. So that is what you're getting from all three parties. And Liberals said, we're probably not really going to be touching any of that. And so we'll see. And so that's kind of what's going to be happening today is Liberals are mainly trying to do two things. They're either going to get one thing or the other. They're either going to be able to foster and engineer a vote of non-confidence and that they can go to an election, or two, they will be looking to essentially get the budget passed and be able to spend all the money they want to spend, and Brookfield will do what Brookfield does, and Mark Carney will continue to get rich and expand his investments. So that's what the Liberal story is at this point in time. And again, it's always investments. I don't know, you've probably seen it at this point. The Conservatives have started to do the whole meme thing. They put a nice little hilarious Full House meme of the Liberals in their budget from what they presented back in 2015 versus what they're presenting now. And it's all a lot of the same thing. And it definitely got the left really upset. The Conservatives thought it was hilarious, or at least the right side of the aisle thought it was hilarious. And now here we are. So this is kind of where we're going. I thought, let's double check here what CTV is doing here.
Bank fees and to automatically file taxes for lower income Canadians.
We're going to go over to
Experts
CTV's
say
feed
there's
as they try to
little
break
that
down
will
the budget
help
a
with
little bit.
affordability.
I think if you're the average Canadian, you're looking at this budget, you're going to say, well, it doesn't change my life very much. I'm concerned about affordability. I'm concerned about housing costs and lots of concerns. It doesn't really address any of those things specifically.
Instead, many economists say the budget's aim is to create a better environment for business through measures like a so-called productivity super deduction. The budget also sets the stage for the elimination of the oil and gas emissions cap, a move the industry and the provincial government in Alberta have been calling for as a way to encourage more investment in the sector.
This is a budget that focuses on capital investment because of the context that we are in right now. The economy is quite weak and is under attack because of the tariff issues, and we have a significant uncertainty in the Canadian economy, so businesses are not investing.
For the first time, the budget has been separated into capital investment and operational spending. By 2028-2029, this document anticipates that the operational budget will have a surplus of $1.7 billion. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
All right, those just the major highlights of Budget 2025, and some of the headline information there, Vashi, is that the deficit is now $78.3 billion, which far exceeds what the Parliamentary Budget Officer had said. And the Conservatives had said a few weeks ago that anything above $42 billion is not a budget that they could support. Now, we'll see what happens. What happens in terms of the sequencing? We know that the House is not.
So that's kind of what's going on there. We'll actually pop over to this story quickly because I know people are popping off about it in the chat, and so we'll cover it here. I think it's important. So we have Conservative MP says he's considering joining Canada's Liberal government. This is breaking news. The Conservative MP in Canada's Parliament is considering joining the country's Liberal Party, moving Prime Minister Mark Carney one step closer to securing a majority government and reflecting a concerted push on the part of Liberals to ensure Carney and their legislative agenda are safe until 2029. Nova Scotia MP Chris d'Entremont told Politico on Tuesday he is thinking about crossing the floor and will decide in the next few days after reviewing the federal budget. He pointed to his narrow margin of victory in the last election. He beat the Liberal candidate by 1.1% and said he's looking at what's best for his constituents. If d'Entremont crosses the aisle and two additional Conservative MPs join the Liberals, Carney's majority would be secured. D'Entremont said the Liberals have been courting other Conservatives who view themselves as centrists but didn't disclose who. You'd have to ask them, he said. He also declined to say he was doing the courting and whether or not conversations include the Prime Minister's office. The Nova Scotia MP had a recent falling out with his party after his caucus refused to back him as Speaker for House of Commons, a position d'Entremont has sought out more than once. He previously served as Deputy Speaker of the House. His views are more in step with Carney, who is seen as leaning further right than previous Liberal leaders. He is also well linked within the Liberal Party and is not known to buy into the right-wing populist movement that Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre embraces. D'Entremont's stunning comment came from before Carney and unveiled his first federal budget, which pledged generational investments and is up for a critical confidence vote in the House of Commons that could make or break his government. So we'll see what Mr. d'Entremont gets up to and what he's willing to do at this point in time. I think it's a little shocking to some degree, because d'Entremont was the only Conservative to win a riding here in Nova Scotia. Otherwise, it went full red. All the Conservatives got ousted in their ridings out here in our province, aside from d'Entremont. So the fact that he's looking to potentially cross the aisle, join the Liberal Party, I don't know if it has a lot to do with his constituents. I think this, as this article points out, I have a feeling this has more to do with an axe to grind, the fact they didn't back him for Speaker. He says, it's being seen as that he's doesn't embrace the populist movement, doesn't embrace current Conservative politics, which is, if I'm being honest, people still have the criticism of it, and but people still wonder, okay, if you want to go join Carney, what exactly are you conserving? What exactly are you doing? What are you backing at this point in time? Have you not seen the reports? Have you not understand what Mark Carney's getting himself into? Have you not seen the corruption in this Liberal Party of Canada? Oh, no, your feelings about not getting the speaker trumps your constituents, trumps Canadians. That's kind of what I'm understanding from this. It's unfortunate at this point in time because you're essentially going to be giving the reins over to a party who wants to police speech, who wants to censor what people are saying, who wants to censor what people see on the internet, who wants to censor the news. That's what he's giving himself over to if he goes ahead and does this, because he got a little sad and a little mad that he essentially was passed over and wasn't backed to be Speaker of the House. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now, and that's what we're seeing at this point in time. So that is unfortunate for them. We'll see what CTV is doing. They're still chatting a little bit, waiting for Champagne to finish off his French version of the budget at this point in time. So we'll continue chatting and talking here in the chat. We will see what happens moving forward. I'm curious what some of your guys' perspectives are on Don Tremont deciding to potentially cross the aisle. What are your thoughts? I know Jessica's telling us how she really feels. There is a Conservative MP that wants to join the Liberals. Chris John Tremont confirmed to a news source today. What a traitor, she says. And there's a lot of people who are a little frustrated in the chat of that, the fact that this is even being considered. I know for myself, being on the Hill and seeing kind of like what's been going on and hearing what's happening, it was really hard for me to believe, at least when I was in Ottawa myself, that I'm like, okay, who actually wants to join this Liberal Party? I'm curious. This Liberal Party seems like an absolute accident waiting to happen. Who would want to join this? And now that Don Tremont's kind of put his voice forward, he'll wait on the budget. We'll see on the budget. We'll see if he agrees with whatever's there. I don't think it has anything to do with the budget at this point. I think it has to do with his feelings. So that's the thing, right? People say facts don't care about your feelings, but also your feelings don't care about your facts. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now is Don Tremont's feelings do not care about your facts and what he's essentially propping up if he goes forward and does this. I'm obviously a little raspy voice at this point in time. I've been doing a lot of talking recently. My voice is also still healing from that debacle Saturday night that we called a baseball game, which I was doing a lot of yelling. So I think my voice is still kind of recovering from that at this point in time. But I'm kind of curious to kind of hear more. I hear KJ Squared saying Nova Scotia is screwed if he does go across the aisle. I mean, I think Nova Scotia is screwed, period. Pretty much all of the ridings are all Liberal out here. And it makes sense because we saw some of those stats that came out of Abacus of the different age ranges of who they support. And the Conservatives have pretty much have a good handle almost every age demographic from 59 to lower, but it's that 60 plus where they are really leaning into Carney because they are living off these government programs. And that's what we see a lot out here in Nova Scotia is a lot of older people who rely on government programs. They're, liberalism, conservatism is always weird out in Nova Scotia. That's why we have the PC party out here. Tim Houston, who's more of a liberal than he is a conservative. It's because there's some areas that they're conservative in, but they rely so much on their government handouts, on their government programs, and they don't want to vote for anyone who feels like they're going to have to axe that. Even when you have someone like Mark Carney who comes in, says, don't worry, that's not going to be touched, but is going to be making a lot of austerity measures in this budget. And again, I'm curious what that's going to be. If he starts kind of hitting a couple of different programming here and there, we'll see how fast Don Tremont either stays or goes at this point in time, because Nova Scotia does rely heavily on subsidy from the federal government, especially our older generation out here. They go work out in Alberta for their working years and they come retire here. So we have a huge retirement community out in Nova Scotia, and that's why it's always been a struggle to Nova Scotia and all the Atlantic provinces have been seen as the have-not provinces because of that trend, typically, as well as you have the likes of the Irvings who essentially run all of New Brunswick and do what they do. It can be tough in that regard. And so that's kind of what we are currently seeing when it comes to Nova Scotia politics and why we see the trend that we're currently seeing. So I'm not surprised by Don Tremont making this statement. It is interesting. It's really coming from Politico of all places that we haven't heard from any of our actually at-home news agencies, but we got it from Politico who broke it, which I thought was fascinating. Suna Silver saying, just like the Blue Jays, And Shanaida only takes the L's. Okay. Relax there, sir. Relax there. It's hitting me a little funny, you know what I'm saying? Jessica follows up saying, we should know by the end of the week if he does. You're correct. We will find out. Obviously, the way this is going to work out today, too, is that we are actually not going to see a vote on the budget until November 17th. We are going to be seeing 4 days of intense scrutiny and debate over this budget. So it's going to be announced today. Then we'll start seeing debates in the House of Commons over this budget for 4 days. And then you're going to be asking, well, wait a second. It's November 4th. Why wait until November 17th? It's because you'll see these debates happen next week. And then they actually get the week off, the week of November 11th off due to Remembrance Day. So that week will be off, and they will resume the following week, and that's when you're going to see the vote take place. So today is just a lot of like, hey, let's see what this budget's all about. People are going to start looking at each other, doing the Spider-Man meme. Who knows? We'll see what happens, and there'll be some decisions made. And that's why Jessica hit there. Don Tremont making the decision if he's going to cross or not, it is actually going to be very pivotal, especially if that comes at the end of the week. That is, didn't see that one coming. I'll be honest. I really didn't believe there was any conservatives that really wanted to cross the aisle. But I was just like, you know what? Hearing that explanation, that makes sense to me now. So I'm still keeping an eye out for the English version of the budget. We're still waiting for him to get to that point, which makes me nervous for how long the speech is going to be. If it's going to be this long in French, I can imagine how long it's going to be in English as I wait on pins and needles with all of you at this point in time. Let me see what the chat's saying here. They're speaking English in the house now. What's going on? Let's see if I can pull up something else here. Pull up another stream that makes sense for the homies. Maybe CPAC will probably got something here. There we go. CPAC here. Let's do this, folks.
Embark on a path that will redefine Canada for generations to come. Why? Because we believe in Canada, Mr. Speaker.
All right, nope, you're still speaking in French as it currently stands. So we'll continue, wait that out. We will actually, let's pull this up. Let me see if I can. I think something just keep in mind as well, just interesting piece of news that we will cover. Bill C3 has now passed the report stage. This is Bill C3. So this is the one where if you even lived here for, a handful of months, you can actually hand down citizenship to your children. And this has kind of been making its way through the House. And so this is what they call weird birthright citizenship. Even if you were born here, or even if you weren't born here, but you had a family member who was born here, you can now get citizenship. And this is kind of what they call like almost chain citizenship, which is kind of very concerning. It got initially proposed, got passed first reading June 5th, made second reading September 22nd. Got its consideration committee on October 9th, and then hit the report stage November 3rd. And the report stage is essentially everyone kind of making their needs and concerns known and want amendments to the bill. And that has now passed, and the Liberals said, don't care. NDP and Liberals voted together to get this thing passed. So now we're waiting for the third reading for this to be officially completed. And so when it gets past third reading, it gets sent over to the Senate to pass their readings to see if this will be passed into law, which is actually very concerning because at this point in time, this actually degrades the Canadian citizenship altogether, because there's such a low barrier to entry now to become a citizen in Canada, and a lot of people start looking at the politics of this. Right? It's like, okay, so now you're kind of bringing in these voters who have a very minimal stake in what it means to be in Canada, what it means to be Canadian, and now they're going to have a chance to be able to vote for who our leaders are. So that is why people kind of got their eyebrows kind of raised on this one. That's a little concerning at this present time. And so it's tough. It's tough, and that's why it's the other side of it as well. Is we see what's happening in the States. We see what's going on with Donald Trump and, how they're handling the people who've crossed into the United States illegally, and all the play that's had up here and the negative press that we've seen about it up here. This is where things get very interesting for conservatives, because if they ever get the reins of power and they start revoking citizenship of people who got it, this is where it's like, whoa, the arguments, you guys are fascists. Look at you guys stripping Canadians of their citizenship. You can already hear what the the headlines are going to be now. You're going to hear what the Liberals are going to cry about, the NDP are going to cry about, if they ever try to go back on this and strip citizenship of people who may otherwise didn't actually pass a strong test to be able to get Canadian citizenship at this point in time. So that's kind of the concern with that, and where that could potentially go, where people have concerns. So I want to push that out to the homies. We do have some super chats here. I'm just going to keep an eye on this.
About this country.
All right, we are now English.
When
Here we
times
go,
are
folks.
difficult, we do not retreat. We advance. We invest, Mr. Speaker, and that's what Budget 2025 is all about. Budget 2025 is a plan to catalyze investments from provinces, territories, municipalities, indigenous communities, and the private sector. With this plan, in 5 years, we will enable $1 trillion in total investment in this country, Mr. Speaker. Enable $1 trillion of investment. And I know, although the Conservatives are silent in their heart, they support that, Mr. Speaker, because I know that they will take the break week to go around and tell their constituent how great we're going to see this country and all the investment we're going to see.
Hear, hear.
Sounds a lot like Trump, doesn't it? It's going to be big. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to make country great.
Canada is one of the best places in the world to invest, and we are going to make it even better. This fiscal strength allows us to make historic investments not only today, but also for future generations.
To Canadians who feel the strain of these times, our message is clear. We will not back down. We will be there for you now and for as long as it takes. We will do what Canadians do best in times of need. We look after one another. We help each other. That's the Canadian way. That's our way, Mr. Speaker.
Meeting this great challenge, Mr. Speaker, requires both ambition and discipline. We need to be ambitious in our investments and rigorous in our spending. And that's why this budget charts a new course for Canada's public finances. Because Canadians expect their government to achieve results. And to get there, we must spend less on operations so we can invest more in Canada's future. First, a new capital budgeting framework, separating our day-to-day spending from the investments that build our future. This reform will allow Canadians to better understand where their money goes, and it will ensure that each dollar helps strengthen our productivity.
Mr. Speaker, we will make capital investment a national priority.
Better budgeting also means presenting the budget at the best time. From now on, the federal budget will be presented in the fall, aligning with the construction season and better supporting provinces, municipalities, as well as contractors in the delivery of their project.
Build this country, and we have a lot to do, and we're going to do it together, Mr. Speaker. And what you see in this budget and in this Prime Minister is that we have a roadmap, Mr. Speaker, to build Canada strong. We understand that there's things we need to do on our side to make sure we can build like never before, and this is the plan to do it. Second, it's all about discipline. The Prime Minister has been clear. Canada's new government will spend less so we can invest more. Mr. Speaker, our budget puts forward $60 billion in saving over 5 years, Mr. Speaker. Canadians have been tightening their belt for quite some time, and it's only natural that we put our house in order as well. And we're going to make sure to the exercise we've done, Mr. Speaker, we found these savings, we did the hard work, we took the tough decision, but you know what? That's what Canadians expect from us. We have a strong mandate. They tell us, do what must be done. That's what we did, Mr. Speaker, and we're going to continue to do. So let me be clear. We are protecting the vital services. While we did that, Mr. Speaker, let me be very clear for all the Canadians watching at home. We are protecting the vital services that you rely on, including childcare, dental care, farmer care, because those are essential and vital for families across our nation. This is who we are as Canadians, Mr. Speaker, and we're going to remain true to our values.
And we are making responsible and pragmatic choices to reduce inefficiencies and focus government initiatives on our core priorities.
Called the Government Comprehensive Expenditure Review, we are focusing investment on initiatives that meet their objectives and complement, rather than duplicate, services delivered by other levels of government. Mr. Speaker, we have looked at how we can streamline programs, how we can right-size, how can we use technology, how can we use AI with one goal in mind to provide better service to Canadians, to be more efficient, because Canadians deserve the best service from their government, and we will deliver. Mr. Speaker, we will cut red tape, we will digitize services and make them faster, simpler, and easier to access.
We are encouraging the adoption of new technologies across government, including Made in Canada sovereign AI tools, through a new digital transformation office. Because, Mr. Speaker, we understand the potential of this digital transformation, and Canada will be both a global leader in this and in service delivery.
A more effective government that can deliver smarter, faster, and more effective services to Canadians. Since 2019, the federal public service population has grown at a rate which is far greater than the Canadian population, Mr. Speaker. We must get the size of our public service back to a sustainable level that is keeping with best practices. But as we are, Mr. Speaker, we will do that with fairness and compassion, because we appreciate the work of every civil servant in this country. We appreciate their service. We appreciate their work. We value their contribution to our country. And whilst we do that, Mr. Speaker, we will make our tax system fairer. Third, we need clear fiscal anchors to provide the predictability and clarity to the world and to Canadians. We will balance day-to-day operating spending with revenues by 2028, 2029, shifting the budget towards investments that grow the economy. Mr. Speaker, this is a pivotal moment in Canada's history. We're going to make sure that the dollar that people entrust in us will be invested to grow Canada. We will maintain a declining deficit to GDP ratio, ensuring that the discipline today while investing in our collective future.
The measures proposed in Budget 2025 put us on the right path to achieve our investment goals. Mr. Speaker, we will create a business environment that attracts an unprecedented flow of private capital into the energy, infrastructure, housing, and defense sectors. Mr. Speaker, this budget is one of investment, generational investment for this generation and future generations. Mr. Speaker, this is because we believe in Canada. Our investments will focus on our economic success and focus on productivity, because productivity means doing more with less, because that's the best way we can improve the lifestyles of Canadians. The 2025 budget will not only accelerate construction in housing and infrastructure, but across the country. It will also strengthen Canada's position as a fiscally competitive jurisdiction and one of the best places in the world to invest.
That is a great place to invest, but together with Budget 2025, we're going to make it even greater, Mr. In short, Canada is the place to be. Canada is the place to invest. Canada is the place to grow, Mr. Speaker. And we're proud to serve Canadians. Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, budgets are not about doing everything. They're about what's necessary and doing it well. We're putting forward a firm, fair, and results-driven plan, the kind of reform Canadians are asking for and the kind that's always served our country well.
Plan will invest $280 billion over 5 years in capital to strengthen Canada's productivity, competitiveness, and resilience. Wow. On a cash basis, this is an historic investment of $450 billion, Mr. Speaker, in Canada.
You got the money. You got the money.
Yeah, good luck, folks. That is your dollars going bye-bye. Rest in pieces.
And we're going to do all that because we believe in Canada. We believe in Canadians. We believe in our workers. We believe in our future, Mr. Speaker. Ces investissements.
These generational investments will drive growth in every region, Mr. Speaker, and create good middle-class jobs, the kind of jobs that allow young people and families to plan for the future with confidence.
Our generational investment will focus on 4 key priorities. Housing, to restore affordability and opportunity. Infrastructure, to connect Canadians and accelerate growth. Defense and security, to protect our sovereignty and our communities. Productivity and competitiveness, to lead and make Canada an innovation powerhouse, the innovation powerhouse of the 21st century. Il ne s'agit pas de...
And these are not abstract priorities. They are the foundations of a stronger, more ambitious and competitive Canada because we believe in Canada. Mr. Speaker, our task now is to turn our fiscal strength into national purpose. For generations, together, Canadians have undertaken major projects that have connected our regions, energized our industries, and defined our identity. For more than 1 century, Mr. Speaker.
The Economy Act adopted last June continues that tradition, a very proud tradition. It removed barriers to internal trade, accelerate approvals for major projects, and strengthens the economic union that binds our province and territories together. We are completing the unfinished work of Confederation, Mr. Speaker. We are going to complete the unfinished work of Confederation, ensuring that wherever a product is made in Canada, it can be sold in Canada, where trade and opportunity flow freely across provincial lines. Mr. Speaker, this is about Canada. If you build something in one part of the country, you ought to be able to sell it across the country because we believe in Canada. Bonne nouvelle,
Good news. Our government won't stop there, but also launch the next generation of nation-building projects. Highways, airstrips, ports, electrical grids, and digital corridors will define the next century of Canadian growth. And thanks to these investments, we will connect regions, strengthen supply chains across the country, and create hundreds of thousands of high-paying jobs and every region of this big country.
Structure fund, Mr. Speaker, will expand possibilities and opportunities like never before in Canada's north, Mr. Speaker. We should all be proud as Canadian. We're going to make historic investment in Canada's north. This is a great moment for the country. And we will build infrastructure in communities all across Canada with the new Build Communities Strong Fund, Mr. Speaker. As we build million more homes, we'll need infrastructure like roads to build new neighborhoods. This fund will help build that. New neighborhoods will lead to new communities across our country that will want recreational and athletic center. This fund will help build that. Wow. And the new communities will need new hospital. This fund will help build that. This fund will build Canada strong. This fund will build our community strong. This fund will build Canada strong, Mr. Speaker.
I thought they didn't like slogans on that side of the
and
house.
I think the Prime Minister would join me in that. We will do all this by being our own best customer to the new Buy Canadian policy. It's about time that we put Canadian suppliers first.
When the government buys, Canadian suppliers will be our first choice whenever possible. Full stop. Because we believe in Canada. We will use
steel made by our workers in Hamilton and Sault Ste. Marie.
We will use aluminum cast in Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, Bécancour, and Kitimat. And we will use softwood lumber cut in Thunder Bay, Prince George, and even in my region of Latuque.
Workers, we will support our country. We will support our industry. Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, I'll give you an example. Yesterday in St. Tite, a small rural city in my riding, I visited Boulay Boots, a family business that has been making boots since 1933. I even had the opportunity to build part of the shoes that I'm proudly wearing today with the help of many skilled workers. A reminder of the craftsmanship and pride that make the Canadian manufacturing industry so strong. Mr. Speaker, the shoes I proudly wear today are the same ones worn by RCMP officers.
I know the Conservative would wish they would have a pair too. Mr. Speaker, these shoes have been made in Canada by Canadian for Canadians. That's the way to go, Mr. Speaker. That's how you build a Canada strong. C'est tout le sens.
And that's what Buy Canadian is all about. Good jobs, resilient communities, and pride in what we're building together.
It's all about good jobs. It's all about resilient communities in our cities and in rural communities across our nation. And this is about pride in what we build, pride in Canada, pride in our workers. That's how you build a strong country. Mr. Speaker, Canada has a legacy of builders. We are a nation of builders. That same spirit of building at home has defined Canada for generations. We have done this before. Back in 1945, just after the war, Canada had to do big things. A so-called, at the time, Minister of Everything, the great CDL, banked on the boundless potential of Canada to make big change in our country. He was not afraid to bet big on Canadians, Neither we are, Mr. Speaker, because we believe in Canada. This budget is guided by the strong conviction that Canada must remain a nation of builders, of infrastructure and of innovation, of trust in public institutions and hope for generations to come. This nation knows how to build. We built the Canadian Pacific Railway in 1885, allowing our country to be connected from coast to coast and supporting trade across the prairies. We built the St. Lawrence Seaway, more recently in 1959, creating a deep water route from the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean. Et plus récemment, nous avons construit les...
And recently, we built the James Bay Hydroelectric Facility in 1985, providing abundant clean energy to power Canadian industries and enabling Canada to become one of the world's top producers of renewable hydroelectric energy. Mr. Speaker.
Of Canada, that's why we want to build a Canada strong together. Each generation has taken on its share of the work and left the next generation stronger for it. We will do it again because we believe in Canada.
Hear, hear.
Canada strong.
With planned investment of $115 billion in infrastructure over 5 years, we will meet the moment. That's what Canadians expect from their government. They know what's going on. They want us to meet the moment, and we'll meet that moment. And we will build the backbone of Canada's next economy. Our task is simple, but it's profound. To turn plans into projects, to turn projects into careers, and to turn careers into prosperity, Mr. Speaker. That's what we are committed to do. That's what we will do with Canadians across the nation. And to do so, we will do that in a way that protects our future, that also protects our nature, and also protect our core values. Building a true partnership with Indigenous people whose stewardship and knowledge of the land continue to guide us today. Because we do not just build for ourselves. Because we do not build just for ourselves, we build for those who will follow us. I'm often reminded of the 7th generation principle. Rooted in Indigenous teachings, a reminder that every decision we take must consider its impact on future generations. Mr. Speaker, we will build Canada strong, but we will build with Canadian values. Mais un pays fort, Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, a strong country invests not only in its economy, but also in its identity. Over the past year, Canadians have shown what Canada is truly made of. When global uncertainty tested us, we looked to each other. People asked where their food was grown and chose to buy from local farmers and producers. Families traveled across the country and rediscovered its beauty from coast to coast to coast. Communities rallied around Canadian businesses, creators, and workers. That, Mr. Speaker, is what it means to be Canadian, to stand up for one another, to build together, and to take pride in what we make, grow, and create here at home. That is what it means to be Canadian, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we are here to defend Canada. We are a bilingual, diverse, and compassionate country, shaped by reconciliation, equality, and respect. Mr. Speaker, we believe in a strong Canada. Mr. Speaker, our government is investing heavily to help Canadians get ahead.
I think this is something that speaks to everyone. Every young people in the country, every family around the country, everyone listening today. Canada faces a steep housing supply gap that has threatened affordability And our minister has been doing great work to make sure we have more supply and continue to do so. We need to make sure that, Canadians across the nation can find a home. And because when they find a home, this is the best way to build their lives. And therefore, we want to be there for them. Budget 2025 is, Mr. Speaker, the most ambitious housing plan since the Second World War. This is what we're delivering for Canadians. The moment calls for it, and we are meeting the moment, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister has been clear. We need to build in this country. We need to build faster. We need to build bigger. We need to build now. We need to build Canada strong. We have put in this budget record investment of $13 billion over 5 years in our flagship home building initiative, the Build Canada Homes. And I'm sure Canadians across the country understand that, because this will be making sure that we build at speed and scale that we have not seen in generations. And we will build, Mr. Speaker, we will double the pace of housing construction over the next decade while we create a new industry. When we will be using Canadian technology, Canadian workers, and Canadian lumber. We will use Canadian workers to build Canada with Canadian material. This is what we're going to do, Mr. Speaker, because we believe in Canada. And we will improve affordability and create careers in the skilled trades. Because as we build this country, Mr. Speaker, young people will see that the dream they have of home ownership will become within reach again. That's what we want to do for future generation, because you know what? Every home built is a step toward a more affordable and a more confident Canada.
Mr. Speaker, affordability isn't just about housing. It's about making life easier for Canadians and reducing everyday costs while protecting the programs families depend on. Canadians elected us to take bold action to help them improve their quality of life quickly.
And we will continue to do. The very first thing that this Prime Minister did for Canadians was to cut tax for 22 million Canadians. That is the first thing we did. First thing we did. And then we brought down gas prices by 18 cents per liter when we canceled the consumer carbon price.
Yes.
See, even the Conservatives are cheering, Mr. Speaker. And they should be cheering about that as well, because we made permanent the National School Food Program, helping 100,000 children each year. I know in the heart they support it, Mr. Speaker. Hey, Monsieur le Président.
And Mr. Speaker, we launched automatic federal benefits, reaching 5.5 million low-income Canadians to ensure that no one gets left behind. We are going to strengthen competition in the telecommunications and banking sectors in order to drive down costs.
These are practical measures that make life more affordable today and build confidence in tomorrow. Because when Canadians can afford a home, when Canadians can raise a family, when Canadians can plan for the future, our entire country grows stronger. Because
prosperity is only meaningful when it's shared and when all Canadians can see themselves in the promise of this country.
Budget is that every Canadian should feel that there's something for them. Because it's not only about today, it's about future generation. It's about building for them. It's about making sure that we'll have a very strong country for generations to come. And as the Prime Minister has said, there can be no prosperity without security. Let me repeat, there can be no prosperity without security. And Mr. Speaker, in that vein, I am sure that every member, and I will look across the aisle and I look in the eyes of every member of this House, Every member in this House would agree that we do need to protect our people, our communities, and our country. Every Canadian expects every member of this House to be there for them. When it comes to security and our sovereignty, Mr. Speaker, we all should be rising and defend what we're proposing. Because, Mr. Speaker, a confident nation that protects its sovereignty at home and its interests abroad through strength, stability, and partnership with allies, we share our values. This is what we're doing, Mr. Speaker.
And with $30 billion over 5 years, Budget 2025 represents the largest defense investment in decades.
Mr. Speaker, yes, let's cheer our people. I have even more good news, Mr. Speaker. We will meet our 2% NATO commitment this year. We will modernize NORAD. We will reinforce our Arctic defense. And we will equip our brave men and women of the Canadian Armed Forces with the infrastructure and technology that they need to safeguard our nation. And we will do that because we believe in Canada. With our new Defense Investment Agency and Defense Industrial Strategy, we will build up Canada's defense industry, strengthening Canadian businesses and supporting Canadian workers and creating good union jobs, Mr. Speaker, across our country. Our work on defense will strengthen Canadian Research Centre. It will strengthen Canadian communities in the North, working with our Inuit and First Nation partners across our country by building dual-use infrastructure like ports and runways to make sure that every community, when we invest, can benefit, Mr. Speaker.
Our plan will create new jobs for engineers, technicians, and scientists in sectors like aerospace, shipbuilding, cybersecurity, and AI.
So I'm just going to kind of slide it there. Obviously, he's going to keep droning on about the budget in general. You know, it is what it is at this point. We have an idea. I'm going to throw this up actually quickly before we conclude, just because we have another live stream at approximately 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I have to take time to prepare for that. That's why I got to cut this off early. However, some things to keep in mind. So this is the budget 2025. So this is what I thought was fascinating. So we are at page 14 here. Oops, wrong way. All right, page 14. So we can expect a $78 billion deficit this year, moving down to $65 billion the following year, down to 64, all the way down to $57 billion in 2029, 2030. Here's the thing, folks. The last budget, they promised that they would only hit $42 billion, then it skyrocketed to over $60 billion. Now we might get lucky. We might get lucky in 3 years to hit that amount that they blew through the last budget. That's pretty rough. To give you some context in terms of how bad this has gotten underneath the Liberal government, I pulled up the budget 2015, the 2015 budget, to see what they're promising in terms of deficits. And they were promising in 2016 that they would be running 2015-2016, they'd be running a $5.4 billion deficit, which then, I'm just gonna make sure I highlight this so you guys can see what I'm pointing at here. A $5.4 billion deficit, then 16 through 17 would be $29.4 billion. 2017 to 2018 would see $29 billion. And then the subsequent years hit $22.8 billion, $17.7 billion, and $14.3 billion. Still pretty brutal deficits to be running. However, they pale in comparison to what the promise is now. I know it sounds slogany. I know people are getting irritated to hear it constantly, but what Pierre Poilievre said was absolutely correct. Carney's deficits are far worse than Justin Trudeau's. He's making them look like child's play at this point. They even tried to paint it inside this budget document, make it look like, oh, trust me, it's all about legendary investments. Historical capital investments. You see down here, we're down the 10 billion, 11 billion range down here. And sorry, I'm pointing to the left side of this graph because I know you can't see my cursor. But yeah, the 2014 through 2015 was down around 10, 11 billion dollars. And just look at it skyrocket. And they promised to essentially skyrocket it over double, triple, quadruple what was spent in previous governments underneath Justin Trudeau. Historical precedent in capital investments. That's what you can expect from this Liberal government. More spending, more deficits, more debt. And the Conservatives are going to be the bad guys in voting against this. And this is why I have an issue with the likes of Don Tremont, who dares even so much to think about crossing the aisle, claiming that, it's just my riding was like split. They wanted Poilievre versus wanting Carney. So I'm going to betray one of them, I guess, at this point in time. I guess is his perspective at this point. But this is kind of the overview of what in terms of want to know, in terms of information. This is where we essentially are at. However, I will be back with you with Reg as we are both combing through the document. We have been combing through the document, trying to get as much information on it as possible so we can discuss it with you at 8 p.m. Eastern time, live on this channel. We look forward to having all of you. And I just want to make sure I'm not missing any super chats before I close this one out. I think it's just me, Nicole, saying, Miss Thang saying thank you, and I appreciate really appreciate you joining, Miss Thang. But we also have just me, Nicole, telling the homies to please take a second, smash a like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out. You guys are so awesome. We're looking forward to joining you and seeing you in about, I'll see you in about 3 hours. Anyway.